The crown of the Sun King. The year was 610, and the Byzantine Empire was bleeding. Persian armies swept through the east, burning cities, slaughtering soldiers, and leaving nothing but ash. Emperor Heraclius stood on the walls of Constantinople, his hands gripping the stone as he watched the horizon. The city was all that held the empire together, and it was crumbling. Food was scarce, the army was weak, and the people whispered that the gods had abandoned them. Heraclius was desperate. He'd been emperor for only a year, a young man thrust onto a throne of chaos. His generals told him to surrender, to beg for peace. But he couldn't. He'd sworn to save Byzantium, no matter the cost. That's why he listened when a scout, half dead from riding, told him about a ruin in Anatolia, a forgotten temple buried in the mountains, said to hold the crown of the Sun King. The scout's voice shook as he spoke. They say it belonged to a king who defied the heavens, sir. He won battles no one could win, saw things no one could see. The crown's still there, hidden in the ruins. Heraclius's eyes narrowed. And the cost? The scout hesitated. The stories, they say it changes you. Makes you more than human, but, not in a good way. Heraclius didn't care about curses. He needed power. He needed to save his empire. Find it, he ordered. A week later, Heraclius stood in the ruins of the Anatolian temple, deep in a valley where the air felt too thick. The walls were black stone, cracked and overgrown with vines. Strange carvings covered them, suns with human faces, warriors with glowing eyes, and words in a language no one could read. His men, a small group of loyal soldiers, held torches that flickered like they were scared. The scout, a wiry man named Lucas, led the way, his hands trembling. "It's down here," Lucas said, pointing to a staircase that spiraled into the earth. "But, Emperor, maybe we shouldn't." Heraclius ignored him. He'd come too far. The Persians were closing in, and Constantinople wouldn't last another year. He descended the stairs, his boots echoing in the dark. The air grew colder, heavier, like it was pressing on his chest. At the bottom was a chamber, its walls glowing faintly with golden light. In the center, on a stone pedestal, sat the crown. It wasn't like any crown Heraclius had seen. It was gold, shaped like flames licking the sky, with a single red gem at its center that pulsed like a heartbeat. He felt it before he touched it, a hum, low and deep, like a voice he couldn't quite hear. His men whispered behind him, their faces pale. "Don't," Lucas said. "The stories say the Sun King went mad. He burned his own city, said the gods told him to." Heraclius's jaw tightened. "I'm not him." He reached out, his fingers brushing the crown. The hum grew louder, and a jolt shot through him, like lightning in his bones. Visions flashed in his mind. Armies falling, cities rising, a man with burning eyes standing over a sea of blood. He gasped, pulling his hand back. "Emperor?" Lucas asked, stepping forward. Heraclius shook his head. "I'm fine." He grabbed the crown and placed it on his head. It was heavy, but it fit like it was made for him. The hum softened, and the visions faded. He felt strong, stronger than he'd ever been. "Let's go," he said, his voice steady. "We have a war to win." Back in Constantinople, Heraclius changed. The crown never left his head, and his eyes took on a strange glow, like fire trapped in glass. He trained with his soldiers, swinging a sword like he was half his age. He planned battles with a clarity that stunned his generals. When the Persians attacked a fortress near Antioch, Heraclius led the charge himself, cutting through enemies like they were straw. His men cheered, calling him a god. But at night, alone in his chambers, the crown whispered. "Strike harder," it said, its voice like a snake in his mind. "Burn their cities. Leave no one alive." Heraclius tried to ignore it. He told himself it was his own thoughts, twisted by stress. But the whispers grew louder, more insistent. They came with visions, fields of fire, rivers of blood, a golden throne rising from the ashes. He saw himself standing over the world, the crown burning bright. He woke sweating, his heart pounding, but he couldn't take the crown off. It felt like part of him now. His advisor, a priest named Father Silas, noticed the change. Silas was old, his face lined with worry, but he'd served 3 emperors and knew when something was wrong. "You're not yourself, my lord," he said one night, his voice low. "That crown, it's not holy. It's from a time before our god. Heraclius laughed, but it sounded hollow. It's winning us the war, Silas. The Persians are retreating. The people believe in me again. Silas's eyes narrowed. At what cost? I've read the old texts. The Sun King didn't just win battles. He lost himself. The crown demands more than loyalty, it demands your soul. Heraclius waved him away. I'm stronger than he was. I control it. But as Silas left, the crown whispered again. He doubts you. Silence him. Heraclius's hand twitched toward his sword. He stopped himself, horrified. Was he really thinking of killing Silas? He shook his head, trying to clear the voice, but it lingered, soft and cold. The war turned in Byzantium's favor. Heraclius led his army across Anatolia, pushing the Persians back. He fought like a demon, his sword flashing, his eyes blazing. Soldiers told stories of him, how arrows missed him, how he knew where the enemy would strike before they did. The crown's visions showed him battlefields, enemy camps, even the thoughts of Persian generals. He was unstoppable, but the whispers never stopped. They told him to kill, to burn, to build a new empire on the bones of the old. At night, he dreamed of the Sun King, a tall figure with a crown of flames, laughing as cities crumbled. Heraclius woke screaming, the crown heavy on his head. He tried to take it off once, but his hands wouldn't move, like they were glued to it. The gem pulsed, and the voice hissed, "You need me." His sister, Elia, grew worried. She was fierce, with dark eyes and a sharper mind than most of his generals. She'd stood by him through the war, organizing supplies, rallying the people. One evening, she cornered him in the palace. "You're scaring me, brother," she said. "You don't sleep. You talk to yourself. That crown, it's doing something to you." Heraclius's temper flared. "It's saving us. You think I'd win without it? The Persians would be at our gates." Elia didn't back down. "You're winning battles, but you're losing yourself. I hear you at night, muttering about blood and fire. That's not you." The crown's voice cut in. "She betrays you. She wants your throne." Heraclius clenched his fists, his nails digging into his palms. "Leave," he snapped. "I don't need your doubts." Elia's face fell, but she left. Heraclius felt a pang of guilt, but the crown's hum drowned it out. He was winning. That's what mattered. By spring, the Persians were on their knees. Heraclius's army cornered them at Nineveh, a city of dust and stone. The emperor stood on a hill, the crown glowing under the sun. His men looked at him like he was a god, but Lucas, the scout who'd found the temple, stayed back, his eyes uneasy. The battle was brutal. Heraclius fought at the front, his sword a blur. The visions guided him, where to strike, when to dodge. The Persians fell by the hundreds, their banners trampled in the dirt. By dusk, the field was red, and the enemy was fleeing. Heraclius raised his sword, the crown's gem pulsing, and roared in victory. But the whispers didn't stop. "Finish it," they said. "Burn Nineveh. Kill them all." Heraclius froze, his sword still raised. The city was defenseless now, full of women, children, and wounded soldiers. He'd never burned a city before. It wasn't who he was. "Do it," the crown hissed. "Or you'll lose everything." Heraclius's hands shook. He saw a vision. Constantinople in flames, his people dead, the Persians laughing. Was it a warning, or a lie? He didn't know anymore. He lowered his sword, his voice hoarse. "No," he said, "not like this." The crown's hum turned sharp, like a scream in his skull. Pain shot through him, and he fell to his knees. His men rushed forward, but he waved them off. "I'm fine," he lied, staggering to his tent. That night, the visions were worse. He saw the Sun King, standing over a burning city, his crown blazing. "You're weak," the king said. "You'll fail without me." Heraclius woke, gasping, his hands clutching the crown. He tried to pull it off, but it burned his fingers, the gem flashing red. Back in Constantinople, the people cheered. Heraclius was their hero, the emperor who'd saved the empire. But he felt like a stranger. The crown's whispers were constant now, telling him to kill his generals, to purge the city, to build a temple to the old gods. He locked himself in his chambers, refusing to see anyone but Elia and Silas. Silas brought him a scroll, its pages brittle and yellow. "I found this in the archives," he said. "It's about the Sun King. He wasn't just a king, he was a vessel. The crown bound him to something, not human. It gave him power, but it took his will. Heraclius's stomach churned. How do I stop it? Silas hesitated. The scroll says only one thing can break the bond: blood. Your blood, freely given, on the altar where the crown was found. Heraclius laughed, bitter. So I die. Not always, Silas said. But it's a risk. The crown won't let go easily. Elia grabbed his hand. You don't need it anymore, Heraclius. You've won. Take it off. The crown's voice roared. They lie. They'll destroy you. Heraclius pulled away, his head pounding. I can't, he said. Not yet. The Persians made one last push, a desperate attack on Constantinople itself. Heraclius rode out to meet them, the crown blazing. The battle was chaos. Swords clashing, arrows flying, the sea red with blood. Heraclius fought like a god, his visions sharper than ever. He saw every move before it happened, cutting down enemies with ease. The Persians broke, their ships fleeing into the night. But the crown's whispers were louder than the battle. Burn the sea, it said. Kill them all. Build my empire. Heraclius stumbled, his vision blurring. He saw the Sun King again, standing over him, his face a mirror of his own. You're mine, the king said. Heraclius fell to his knees, the crown burning his scalp. His men shouted, thinking he was wounded, but it was worse. The voice was inside him now, clawing at his mind. He saw Elia's face, Silas's warnings, the scroll's words. He had to end this. Lucas, he shouted. The scout pushed through the crowd, his face pale. Take me to the temple. Now. They rode hard, just Heraclius, Lucas, Elia, and a small guard. The temple was as they'd left it, its black walls looming in the moonlight. The hum was deafening now, shaking the ground. Heraclius stumbled down the stairs, the crown screaming in his head. You'll die, it said. You'll lose everything. He reached the chamber, the pedestal still there, the altar stained with old blood. Elia grabbed his arm. You don't have to do this. Heraclius looked at her, his eyes wet. I'm not me anymore, he said. It's taking me. I won't let it. He drew his dagger and knelt before the altar. Silas's words echoed. Blood, freely given. He cut his palm, letting the blood drip onto the stone. The crown screamed, a sound that made his ears bleed. Visions flooded him. Fire, death, the Sun King laughing. But he kept going, chanting words from the scroll Silas had read to him. The hum faltered. The crown loosened, just enough for him to grab it. He tore it off, his scalp burning, and threw it onto the altar. The gem cracked, and the hum stopped. The air went still, like the world was holding its breath. Heraclius collapsed, his vision fading. Elia caught him, sobbing. You did it, she whispered. You're free. He wasn't sure. He felt empty, like something had been ripped out of him. The visions were gone, but so was his strength. He looked at the crown, its flames dull now, the gem dark. Was it over, or was it waiting? Heraclius returned to Constantinople, a hero to his people. The Persians were gone, the empire safe, for now. He ruled for years, rebuilding what was lost, but he was never the same. He was quieter, his eyes haunted. He never spoke of the crown, and he forbade anyone from entering the temple. Elia kept the crown hidden, locked in a vault beneath the palace. She swore she'd destroy it, but Heraclius stopped her. We might need it, he said, his voice hollow. If they come again. At night, he dreamed of the Sun King, standing in the shadows, the crown back on his head. You can't escape me, the king said. Heraclius woke, his heart racing, and checked the vault. The crown was still there, silent but waiting. The empire stood, but Heraclius knew the truth. He'd won the war, but the crown had claimed a piece of him. And somewhere, in the dark, the Sun King's voice still whispered, patient and cold.